coming, guys. Welcome Kirby to LA. Congrats, Kirby. Remember to wait for me to call on you before you ask a question. But Brandon Gomes.
Okay, cool. Well, appreciate everybody coming out today. I know, we're all getting prepped for spring training. This one's especially fun for me. Kirby and I go way back to our Tampa days, both in Durham in AAA and then in the big leagues in Tampa. And we all know how good the upshoot heater is, how nasty the splitty is. But you're also getting the definition of a grinder and a great teammate with Kirby. He's overcome long odds from being a non-drafted free agent. He's persevered through injury and emerged on the other side of that as one of the game's best relievers. He's had to earn it every step of the way, and he's done it with his work ethic, mental toughness, relentless nature on the mound, all while making sure that he's doing his best to make everybody around him as good as possible. So I could go on, and I know Kirby's not that type of guy. I don't want to hear all that, but just, this one's really fun. We're really excited to add him to this group. So please welcome us in having Kirby join us as the newest member of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Thanks, Gone. You want to go over the top? Yeah, it's the part of the operatives that's great. Hat, just busting it up there.
Good right here, guys.
Kirby, first, welcome to the Dodgers. Just when you look at what this offseason looked like for you in this process, what made this organization the right fit for you?
This kind of struck home a little bit. I mean, my dad grew up down the street. My mom's from Newport. They've been Dodger fans when they were little. My grandpa was a diehard Dodger fan. So, this hadn't really sunk into a few days ago to kind of understand the meaning of this behind my family. I mean, my phone has not stopped since, it was announced, and there's a lot of people that are close to me that are very, very excited, including myself.
What was just their reaction to all of this? I mean, did they say anything in specific, especially with this being so close to home?
I don't think they really believed me at first, because when I kind of told them Dodgers are interested, we're kind of getting close with something, and they're like, oh yeah, and then I was like, hey, it's the Dodgers. They're like, oh wow, this actually is happening. It's like, yeah, we're gonna be Dodgers. And so, everybody's excited. This is really cool sitting up here.
Kirby, just coming back from injury over the last couple of years, the numbers have gotten better, and obviously last year's performance really stood out. What is it about these last few years? What have you found at this stage of your career that's allowed you to get back to this level of success and be as consistent as you've been the past couple of years?
Well, I think the first thing was kind of trying to prove not only to everybody else, but kind of to myself that I can stay healthy and that I feel good enough to still do this at, an extra high level. I think at 23, I was healthy. I didn't exactly feel great all the time. And in doing that, I think, from my point of view, when I looked on after that season and kind of looked at it, I felt pretty good of the body of work I did with the way, the time off, the inconsistencies of going out there on the mound and just kind of having to grind on a daily basis and be able to get meaningful outs every night. And then, last year I felt really good, and I kind of slid into a role that I was very comfortable with, and I still felt going into that year that I could really pitch at a high level still, and I proved that to myself. I still think I got a few more good years. I know I'm 38, I've been doing this for a while, but I think if you look at the log of innings and everything, I don't think it matches up to a normal 38-year-old. And I still think I can do this for a few more years at a high level, and I like, where I'm at.
Bobby.
Hey Kirby, congratulations. What kind of teammate was Brandon?
He was awesome. Like you said, this is cool for probably the both of us. He was one of the first older guys when I got to AAA. They kind of you kind of gravitate to older guys when you're younger to kind of learn, and he taught me a lot. We had a lot of fun. It was, he was an awesome teammate. He's easy to be around. Kind of the same guy he is. It's easy to talk to. It's a lot of fun, and it was an awesome relationship then, and this is pretty cool.
And these guys have obviously used bullpen guys in all kinds of different roles. How do you sort of see yourself fitting into how this bullpen kind of has functioned in the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, look, you got some pretty dominant guys in that whole pen. I think, Dave or Doc, whoever, will come up with a plan to probably go into the season with something. Bullpens kind of always situate themselves as the season goes on, and guys will slide in the roles. Guys will get comfortable into what they're doing, and that, from my experience, that's kind of how bullpens situate themselves.
Bill.
Congratulations, Kirby. A lot of great numbers on the back of your baseball card, but one that really stands out, you've only pitched one postseason inning in your career. How does that happen, and how much of a factor is that when you go looking for a team this offseason?
Yeah, free agency is the only time you can really choose your team. And so that's, the older you get, that kind of starts being important. I think last year I'd never had the feelings I'd had, when you're kind of the second week of August or second week of August, first week of September, when you're kind of falling out of that playoff race. You kind of, it kind of hits you a little different. You're getting older, and you're, I'm losing out on another chance to go, make a deep run into the postseason. So, I mean, look, this is my third time signing with the reigning World Series champs. I think the difference this time is how loaded this team is compared to everybody else. And I'm looking forward to, finally trying to make that run and be able to pitch deep into the postseason.
Kirby, have you ever had a chance to kind of take a look at all the names in the bullpen on a computer or a piece of paper, and what is your impression?
I mean, on paper, it's probably as good as it can get, really. I think you can say that for the entire roster. I think everybody knows that. Everybody's been talking about it. I think the more guys you can have down there that you can lean on in certain situations, the better it is for everybody. It kind of helps ease the load off certain guys. When you get into teams that are kind of a little bit thinner, you have to tend to ride certain guys a lot more than other dudes. I don't think we'll have that problem here.
And then Brandon, you've talked in the past about not just acquiring good players, but good people. You've known him for a long time. How does he kind of fit into that?
Yeah, I think it's going to be, we've said this along the way, but it's really important, especially within our clubhouse, because obviously the talent is a huge factor, but the way our guys gelled last year, cared for each other, try to make each other better, Kirby's going to fit in perfectly there, and, having that veteran presence along with a few other guys in the pen are going to make, the rest of that group even better. And as young guys come up, he can be a mentor along with some of those other guys. So it's really important to us that is a big factor when we're looking at free agents as well.
Yeah.
Brandon, I know you've mentioned once or twice you can never have enough pitching, but just with what you guys have done this winter, is this about as good as you can feel about the state of a full pitching staff going into a year?
Yeah, I mean, I think, what we've been able to do this offseason, with the guys that are coming back from last year, whether healthy or coming back from injury, and then, there's a really strong combination of high-end talent and then also depth. So as we approach spring, we do feel like we're in a good place. And like we said in the past, like hopefully this is our group all the way through and not having to go out to market in July. But things change like they always do, but we feel like we're in a good position right now with this current group.
Questions for Kirby or Brandon?